It's Friday, so we're going to do our Friday 5, and this week we're going to do theater experiences. Recently in my review for Project Hail Mary, I had noted that if I had seen that movie in the theaters when I was a kid, that it would have been an all-time thing for me. So then it got me thinking, what are some of my favorite theater experiences? And so I came up with this list of 5 memories that really stick with me. First, I have The Lion King. When this came out in 1994, I think I was just about to turn 9 years old. And I believe my parents had taken the week off, and they had gift certificates to the movie theater. And I just remember sitting in sort of the back left side of the theater and just being completely transfixed at the screen. At that point, I still hadn't really gone to a ton of movies at the theater, and I just remember this feeling like such a special day. And to watch this movie with this amazing soundtrack in this packed theater, it just felt so important. And sort of the cool add-on to this is I so vividly remember seeing the trailer for Toy Story for the first time. Next, I have Jaws. I always just assumed it was a random movie about a shark, but then a friend of mine was managing a movie theater. One July 4th, he invited us to come watch Jaws in one of the big theaters. And that night was just me and a couple friends, and for the most part, they were just talking in the back. But for some reason, I just decided to sit down and watch, and I was blown away by that movie. I felt so incredibly lucky to be watching this, essentially sitting alone, having this giant screen in front of me. And that movie is so much better than I ever would have expected. It has become one of my favorite movies of all time, and that just felt like a really pivotal moment for me in terms of movies. Next, I have Jackass. I was the perfect age for when this came out. Being a teenager in the early 2000s, this crew was just such a staple in my life. And so me and a bunch of friends went to the theater on opening night, and it was chaos. The entire theater was so rowdy. And if you can't tell by my usual monotone voice, I'm not a very rowdy person, so I was a little bit scared. Someone was chucking rocks outside at the emergency exit. And finally, by the time everybody settled down, it was one of the funniest things I had ever seen. It felt like such a communal experience. Next, I have Avengers Endgame. I never watched any of the Marvel movies, but for some reason, about a year before this came out, I said to myself, I want to be a part of some cultural zeitgeist moment. I crammed it all in so that I could be there opening night, and it was awesome. I get choked up every time at the end, and this guy's sitting next to me right now. And for my last one, I have Borat. I actually went to the red carpet premiere of this in 2006. I used to be heavily involved in my college radio station, and during my senior year, I was the general manager, which meant that I got to go to CMJ, which was a college music radio conference that took place in New York City every year. And on this year, they were doing an actual red carpet debut of Borat. And somehow I was able to finagle a ticket. And I didn't know what Borat was. I just saw that my friends were excited, so I got excited too. I was actually literally in the window behind Borat as he was getting his paparazzi photos taken. He came out and introduced the movie, and then what transpired was one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. I was in tears, and I just left there smiling. And so these are 5 theater experiences that I really loved. Let me know what some of your favorite theater experiences are down in the comments. Be sure to follow along so you can see more lists like this and other movie reviews, and take care.